This is a drink and draw with the one and only Lance Buan. He illustrated. He did the cover for the Cloud Diver. We may or may not ever get to the illustration portion of that someday, but that cover's still pretty fucking sweet. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna draw since. So, folks, we started talking about Commander. So, I think I'm gonna try this guy out. That's from the new Kamigawa set.
Oh yeah. It's kind of blurry on my end, but what's his name? I'll look him up.
Atsushi the Blazing Sky.
Okay. Oh, that was in your list, right?
Yeah. Just look at my list. You'll see it.
That was actually one of the ones that was one of the only ones that I actually looked at and was like, is that just new ball lightning?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If it dies, it's one of my favorite. It was the hardest card to find for this deck, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't even believe the way that power has changed in Magic. It's insane.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, absolutely. And like we were saying off the air, like Magic is one of the biggest reasons Flesh and Blood is so successful right now. Not for necessarily a good reason, but because Flesh and Blood's a good game. I haven't played a ton of it, but what I have played, it's a good game. But Magic's really like Magic's in a really interestingly weird spot in the sense that that right now their most popular format is Commander.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a small part of them that really hates that.
I think it makes more and more sense the way that when I think about it, because at least for me, the draw of Magic was always just the creativity that you could find within deck building and sort of expressing that creativity. Especially after playing other card games like Netrunner and Flesh and Blood and L5R, any number of card games, it is not, the strength of Magic is not as a competitive game.
No, it's not. Its real strength is, I mean, it's got some really cool things, but like I said, other card games have as cool or cooler mechanics than it, right? It's really a matter of what you value. But like I said, but the thing is, it's not even that. It's just the prices of everything. Standard's been dead for a long time, right? And one of the reasons Standards is dead is there's no Pro Tour anymore, right?
Yeah, that's one thing Flesh and Blood does very well. Is competitive play, having a Pro Tour, having Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll build up. Like a lot of the pro players actually went and played poker for a while, right? I don't know if they're playing Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, a lot of Magic guys came over to Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, so but that's why, right? Because you look at it and kind of go, okay. And I get it, but it killed Standard for Wizards of the Coast. But they still are pushing an obscenely high amount of products out there, as you are well aware of, obscene. But no one's like a guy like me who plays Commander is only going to buy a couple cards from those sets and not even bother, because why would I pay, upwards of $200, $300, $400 for a box when I only want to play with a handful of cards?
Well, in the way they've localized, I don't know, it just feels really bad to me. The way they've basically localized any of the value cards into those collector boosters, which you can't draft.
Yeah.
It takes all the value out of a box for me. That's half the fun, is being able to draft it.
Yeah, well, they still have draft boosters, but it's not.
But none of the good money cards are in there. Not that was necessary, but that was a nice byproduct of Magic, where I don't know,
Yeah.
Light gambling with like buying your core cards is not so bad.
Well, yeah, especially since you might make money back on your box, right? I mean, that was always a little like bonus, right? You could possibly do it. It's not guaranteed, but you could possibly do it, right? And what ended up
It
happening
wasn't even like
was,
necessarily like making money on it, but like having trade fodder, like so so
oh yeah,
someone else gets something you need, you have something of value to trade them. Like,
oh yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
Flesh and Blood's weird. Flesh and Blood's really weird that way too. At least in the scenes that we've made, like in Calgary and out here,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 95% of a deck is basically free.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of it is composed of commons and rares, which are just bulk, and then like the higher rarities that you need is like outside of the equipment, most people will just straight up give you whatever for like a Coke and a chocolate bar.
Well, that's not like for our game community. That's not a bad way of like. That's not terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a game community, obviously, everybody would like. Again, you're putting that much money into a game. Now, I know Flesh and Blood boxes initially are cheaper than Magic boxes right now. That's also part of the appeal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
well, you
like,
said they're 400 a box right now for Magic.
well, not 400. No, 400 for the last commander set.
Oh
Which
yeah,
was
the crazy
just
stuff.
absolute.
Yeah, Flesh and Blood is like
They're still
100,
charging
110, 115 or something a box.
Which is what we used to pay back in the day when we were playing Magic.
Yeah.
Right. And we're competitive. Like people would spend money on that game, and they just would.
Yeah. I mean,
so
yeah, we did. For sure we did.
Yes, absolutely. But them being as how do I put this? Hasbro being as enterprising as they have, they're releasing like a new set every month. There's a Doctor Who set coming out right now, and I don't care. Right? I just don't care.
That I never thought I would ever be like, I never thought I'd ever be the kind of person that said like the words like diluting the brand, but like,
but it's what they're doing.
Man, it's I don't know. Everybody's got their thing, I guess.
Well, no, they like, but again, they have diluted their brand, which is why when you look at something like, say, Flesh and Blood, like, don't get me wrong, Flesh and Blood's a good game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Magic, being what it is, last a little bit, has pretty much given Flesh and Blood permission to grow and expand and take money from Hasbro's bottom line. And I can't blame anybody that makes that decision. I'd love to give you a good argument, but I can't. I enjoy Commander. It's the only reason. Like that's it. And even then, so that means like from the new set, the last set that came out, like none of the cards were worth anything. So I spent $10 on like 8 cards.
Oof.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But that's I'm not like, don't get me wrong, like I like the set, and the thing is I actually like the set, but I don't like, there are some cards I think that are actually going to be valuable down the road. But I assuming Wizards doesn't reprint them to death. Sneak Attack is now a $5 card. That's how many times it's been reprinted in the last year.
Like, reprints make sense for like, but they need to be in demand, right? Like they need to be an in-demand card. If you're just reprinting things randomly, you're just gonna drive everything into the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, even if it's in demand, even if it's in demand, let's say it's in demand, okay? You're only going to, you reprint it once, maybe, right? Once maybe every couple of years, right? So it keeps its value, at least a little bit of its value, right?
Yeah, you need to like you can't just reprint it, right? Like it takes a while to even understand if your reprint did the thing you wanted it to.
Exactly.
So you have to reprint and then wait and watch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Sneak It, like the car I just mentioned, has been reprinted 3 times this year. 3.
Yeah, that's
not once. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't run a multi-million-dollar TCG, but that seems dumb to me.
They've been doing all kinds of mistakes like that in the
Hmm.
last little bit, and like I said, it's allowed other card games to flourish because, again, no one wants to be part of that spiral, and I can't blame them. And that's why, folks, I play Commander, so I don't have to.
Yeah, come on.
People still like the
Flesh and Blood.
game.
That's great.
Yeah, I've thought about it. It's time, as you well know. Time is not our friends.
Hey man, next set is all mechanologists. It's like steampunk, cyberpunk combination. It's right up your alley.
Okay.
It's basically Cloud Diver.
Okay, sure. All right.
Yeah. So join on and also file a lawsuit. No.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be good. No, okay. So, how have you been real life? Like real life stuff? What's been going on?
I mean, pretty good. Just kind of, I don't know, still settling in Nova Scotia. I just did a trip back to Calgary for work. Yeah, I don't know. Being a dad's good. Working from home's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's what life's all about, right? So you got the life.
End up doing a lot of boring stuff, like I don't know. Yeah, fixing the house, pruning trees, like.
Well, that's just life, man. I mean, you got
Yeah.
you got to take like you hit that point in your life, man, and I always knew you would. That you have become successful at what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a family, and you're probably enjoying it more than probably you realized you would. And now you got to do the mundane stuff once in a while, but the mundane stuff, it makes that stuff much more worthwhile doing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's weird. Before having kids, I really thought I would miss my hobbies and stuff like that more. But now I just like boring stuff. Like I, just finish the day, have dinner, go to the beach. That's a good day.
Yeah. Again, it's simple. Like you don't like, none of us want a complex, even, okay, look, as wild, like I want adventure and connection. It's been my theme for the last little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of it. But at the same time, I'm also realizing that, you have to, I have to work my way to get to where I want to get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that means some mundane shit. Now, I've done a really cool thing in that I've turned my creativity into more of a money-making thing. So I'm having a lot more maybe fun than the average person. I don't know. But, I mean, look, I get to the next phase of my life, right? Let's say I do find somebody, settle down, get married, have a zillion kids. I'm going to be doing mundane shit. That's okay by me. Mundane's fine.
Yeah. I mean, just like having kids and having a house that's another full-time job. I mean, not necessarily. Having an old house like me means it's another full-time job.
Well, yeah, you gotta make sure the damn thing just doesn't die on you. You're like, come on, right? Come on. I want to make sure you're working and alive, and you probably are swearing at the house every so often. It's like, God damn thing.
Occasionally, the house is actually pretty okay, but I mean, also like now climate change is like hurricane. We just went through our second hurricane since we moved here. Not that bad. Fiona was way worse, but
yeah,
something I never thought I'd have to deal with.
Well, life surprises you, right? Sometimes life just says, "Hey, Lance, guess what you're dealing with today? A hurricane." And you're like, "Oh, good." But I always want.
I love learning new things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what's the secret to a hurricane? It's annoying, and just don't. but if you have to,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. And so let's see. I didn't get to go on the road the way I wanted to, but my consolation was I went to San Diego Comic-Con as a professional.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's dream worthy, you know.
absolutely.
Where are you at? Where are you even at right now?
I'm still in Calgary for the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
For the moment,
sure.
I am looking at taking off for the spring. So I'm kind of like, so I'm in this weird spot now where I'm just trying to up my skills at finding more work, doing what I'm doing. Because okay, I could get a full-time job and probably stay my way out, and I might like do some like work. I've got some work possibly I'm doing next month. I've already kind of talked to someone about that. But the truth of the matter is, like, I got like for what I'm doing, like, you know, as well as I do, sometimes it's about honing the skills of what you're going for. And for me, it's like, okay, I gotta get better at finding work. Because what I want to do is I want the freedom to go on the road and do my thing until I'm ready to figure out where I fit in this crazy world of ours, wherever that ends up being. It will not be Calgary, that I know for sure. But because again, so like San Diego, let's ignore the con for a second. I had more human interaction with people in San Diego in a week than I've had in this city for a year.
Yeah, moving away from Calgary and then trying to move back to Calgary was a real eye opener for me too. It just like I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Anymore. Too big, too spread out, and like there are a lot of positives to it, but yeah, same thing, like no human interaction, like no community. It's not that there's no culture, but there's no community.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Like I have gotten to the point here that I almost am surprised when something actually happens in this city. And I was in San Diego for a week, right? I talked to everybody there and interact with people there. Right? I did a Barbie party at the bungalow I stayed at while I was there. It was kind of fun. Right? Now, I grant you that, okay, I'm sure there are lulls. There's lulls everywhere. I know that. But yeah, just what it comes down to for me is, right, is I got to, how do I put this? Like, I'm at that point in my life is like, okay, do you want to do it? And I get so many excuses to why it doesn't happen. And I'm just like, I'm tired of it. So it's like, okay, listen, you want to make it happen? We'll make it happen. And but that doesn't mean there aren't great people here. That doesn't mean that I don't think there aren't people I haven't hung out with. That I'd be lying if I said that. But it's not the common norm anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would I want?
I totally understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine where you're at, there's a little bit more community there.
Yeah, we still haven't like met a ton of people, but everybody here is super nice and super helpful and supportive. Like, yeah, just I don't even know how to describe it. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
If I trusted people, if I trusted people here, or if I trusted people in Calgary like I trusted people here, I probably would have been murdered 4 times.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a totally different world, right? It's a totally different world. And and like a little bit more slower, a little bit more laid back, but honestly, the trade-off is you get that community stuff, right? So
it's just the distance, man. Like it's the distance and the amount of people. You can't just act like an ass when you see the same people all the time, you know, in a small town.
Yeah. Well, you can, but it might bite you in the ass.
I mean, you can. Yeah, you definitely will.
Yeah.
And the distance is like, you know, we can walk Ruben to daycare in like you know, we live across from a school and groceries are 5 minutes away. The beach is 12 minutes away. Like it would take us 12 minutes to drive out of the suburb we lived in. And that was 40 minutes from anything in Calgary. Like,
Well, absolutely.
yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Don't know how I'd go back to that.
Oh, simple. For stupid piles of money, so you can leave as quickly as possible.
I guess if you have like the insane amount of money that like puts you in that scenario in a city where you can like live in, I don't know, one of the 5 neighborhoods that have that. But
well, again, stupid piles of money. That's the only way, right? And even then, you're looking to leave. Like that's just how it goes.
Yeah, you always need like that exit plan.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I didn't quite hit it. I had more comic books. Literally, one of the things it came down to is I had more comic books than I thought. Like legit. To get rid of.
Oh yeah, I see. For moving.
Part of that, yeah. I'm just getting rid of it. So I took a break from when San Diego came. I stopped going to the flea market, but I was getting rid of about 30, 50 comics. I was like an extra 100 here, an extra $100 there. That's basically what I was doing, and it was, again, nothing big, but nothing terrible. Like I'm gonna get something of a return, but again, what it comes down to is you have to look at, okay, like I said, what am I staying here for? I can work anywhere. So if I can work anywhere, like why stay one place? Like it makes 0 sense. Right? It makes absolutely 0 sense.
Well, like even though Calgary is a little bit cheaper to live than like Vancouver or Toronto, it's still
not by much. Like
not by much. Yeah,
it's not by much. So I mean, like the thing is, like what I'm talking about, folks, is you got to figure out where in the world you're happy, right? If you're not happy in a place, you need to look to leave. Like again, I'm not. And to anyone, by the way, that thinks I'm being hypercritical of Calgary, it's not to my taste. That's all basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's to my taste. It's not to my taste, and that's it. It's not like a terrible crime. You know what I mean? But we all have to kind of come to terms with what we want in this life, and right, I want in this life is a little adventure and connection, and figure out where I fit in this grand, crazy world of ours. That's it. I mean, I'm not trying to like make this super complicated because it's not. But you have to. But again, that means if the place isn't what you want it to be, then you have to make a decision. Do you want to stay here or do you want to go? And for me, it's just simple. I want to go. That's it.
Yeah, right? That's key too. So, is like you actually have to make the decision, because if you don't make the decision, you're there forever.
Exactly.
No,
it's so
no
true,
decision
right?
is so true. That indecision is not choosing Calgary. It is staying in Calgary because it's easy.
Exactly. And again, you don't necessarily. Again, and folks, if for people that live here and love it here, more power to you.
But not. There's it's not a bad place. It's just.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's easy to get into a mentality thinking that there is nothing, like there's nowhere else.
Oh, very much so.
Or that you have no options or whatever.
Yes, a lot of people played into that, and
well, and some people legitimately don't have options. It is not.
Well, okay. I'm gonna only push back on this slightly. It depends on what you got to lose. That's what really comes down to.
Yeah. And what your responsibilities are too, though. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's totally it, right? Like, look, if someone's raising. Yeah. That's basically it. It's not if it's just you individually. There's really doesn't matter where you are in life. You can go. It's not that's not even a question, right? But now, do you want to make the effort to go? That's the thing. Now, it's taking longer than I thought, and I'm gonna have to work at some things, but I'm gonna get out of here eventually. I've already kind of made that decision, and it's not because I'm trying to enjoy the city left. I've made an effort to try to enjoy my time here. It's just I can't, like, no one wants to engage, at least with me. So I gotta make that So I gotta make a decision now, right? Is this worth me putting up with this again? That I'm not. And there's no judgment, by the way, for me with anyone that chooses to stay. I don't care. One of the things I've learned in the last little bit is I say this to people at the end of the day, we all do what we want to do, but it's coming to terms with what that is for you, being honest with yourself with that. Because it's when you're honest with yourself that you can actually make, like, you're making the correct decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely met like a lot of people in Calgary that just thought, like, there is that weird mentality, right, where Vancouver is unlivable and Toronto is unlivable, and it feels like it becomes like, it feels like Calgary is the only option that is like a urban center that you can possibly live in.
It's not,
but
yeah.
It's much like the American dream. It's not. Yeah. It's not. Right. Yeah.
So here, so here, you see that? You see that sushi?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
How'd I do?
Ah, nice. That's not bad.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah. So so anyway, so I went. So now about San Diego Comic-Con, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, I can't even do justice how big that show is.
Yeah.
Like dude. Okay, so you remember when we did Calgary Expo, right?
Yeah.
Put the whole BMO Center, like put like 5 or 6 of them, and that is just the convention hall in San Diego.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it takes about 40 minutes to go across one hall to the other, and you got no choice but to move because there's that many people going on in there. It's insane. Like, it's absolutely crazy, right?
That's nuts.
So yes, but it was fun. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So fun.
Is it like sort of
dude, yeah.
Gotta go once kind of thing, at least?
I think everybody should go once. I was there as a professional, which is just that is surreal to me. That was so surreal. So let's see here. I gotta pick another card to try to draw here. So that's a possibility. Since our theme is dragons today, as you put it. So I'm looking at the different. I've done Junji, who's also a crazy good magical dragon. So I've done him. So I'm not going to do Junji again today. Well, I might do Junji again today, but I gotta have a good reason to do Magic and Junji today. Just looking at some of the other card options here. But yes, and I'll let you choose. Sushi is, it's not bad at sushi. I think I did okay. I'm definitely better than when I started, for sure.
Yeah, man. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Infinite practice.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Dungeon. All right. So I'm looking at I have a lot of dragons in this deck. I do.
You came prepared.
I did. So let's see. I'll let you choose. Okay. I could try Junji again. From my list, right? Decadent Dragon.
I like that one.
Okay. Yeah. He's a good card. Realm Scorcher Hellkite.
Classic.
Yep.
Big red.
Malevolent Witch Kite. Yeah, never going with just a black one here. Malevolent Witch Kite.
Okay.
Okay. And an older card, Bladewing, the Deathless Tyrant.
Oh yeah.
So the two you popped for this one.
Yeah.
So the Decadent. So is there any other ones that grabbed your fancy there?
I like Decadent, I think. Deathwing's pretty cool too. Or Deathblade,
Yeah.
Bladewing.
Bladewing. Okay, so I'll make that number 3.
At a World of Warcraft Freudian slip.
It's okay. Deathwing's cool. I love. Who doesn't love Deathwing? And if you're one of those people, I don't want to know you. I think my favorite, like Hearthstone Adventure, the Blackrock Mountain one. My favorite one is if you did play Deathwing, you actually fight the boss. He's like, "Daddy?" ? It's like, what are you doing here?
Man, that was another game I fell off of it like pretty hard too. Was Hearthstone.
I literally
never got back in.
I literally just. Wow, you're decadent. You are a decadent guy. He's gonna be a bit of a challenge because he's a bit of a distance shot, but I mean, he's like this. Like Decadent Dragon is the Scrooge McDuck of dragons. That's what he is.
Decadent. Does it give you food tokens or something?
Treasure tokens.
Yeah. It's not very decadent.
Yes.
More opulent.
It is when you look at everything around him. Look at everything around him. Kind of is, but you know.
Yeah.
It's like dude, I'm not decadent. Look at my stuff. Which you're like, no, I don't want to look at your stuff. Screw that. Yes. So I'm going to call him Scrooge McDuck. That's going to be my nickname for him when I play him. No, Hearthstone is, I don't mind it. Now I took a year off and I played it and I tried in some of the new classes and I'm just like, it's not bad. I prefer Shadowverse, but that's because Shadowverse kind of feels like Shadowverse feels more competitive, and I enjoy that. That's where I do my competitive gameplay. Still is there, right? But again, it's all about what's important to you, right? So, Hearthstone says it has a decent community. They've figured it out, kind of, sort of. Oh, he's a bit of a fat bastard. That's why he's called Decadent Dragon, I think. He's a bit of a fat bastard. Okay, that might be why he's like decadent. Because I got like this pot belly dragon here. That's what I got.
See? That's a gold card waiting to be printed.
Yes.
Right in there with like Feldegriff.
It's like, hey, a buddy of mine that plays Commander, he made a Feldegriff Hug deck. It's actually an evil little deck. It's an evil deck. No, folks. And by the way, Michael, I'm just saying hi to you here. If anyone says Feldegriff, yes, they're not necessarily trying to win the game. They're going to make you play games, though. All of the games. Everybody draws. Everybody plays something for free. It's like, wait, I don't know if I want to play something for free every time. What if things happen? I don't want things to happen. I like winning. Especially when you're winning the game, you're like, no, don't make everybody play. I want to keep winning. Yeah, exactly.
Get the feeling that if I keep playing things, they're all gonna disappear in a big white card.
Or a big blue card or a green card.
Or a big black card. Yeah, I guess they all got those cards now.
Yes, they do. They're all just going to disappear somehow in the process. That's what's going to happen. I don't want them to disappear. I'm happy. Leave. But yes, I have made that's what I'm calling, folks. My nickname for Decadent Dragon is Fat Bastard Dragon. That's what he is. He's got this.
The dragon's kind of looking more like a lion than a dragon right now. Gotta bring it home. Bring it back.
That's okay. I screwed up Batman one time when I was drawing in like 5 seconds. It's like, screw it, I'm doing something new right now. What are you doing? I don't know. But I messed it up.
Pivot.
I messed this up. It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I screwed up. Because I only had like 5 minutes to do it. Like it was a 5-minute drawing challenge. It's like, I don't have time to fix this. I don't have time to fix this. What am I going to do? Right. And so big belly, no legs. So what I'm going to do now is I have this idea. This is what I'm going to do with Fat Bastard Dragon. I'm going to give him a money bin.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That checks out.
Yeah. I figured you'd appreciate that. It's like, I
still feel like it should have been food tokens.
It could have been, but dragons do have a thing for treasure. Like that it does, because it's a dragon, it checks out. But food would have been good too. Or even better, both. Like, yeah, now I'm just putting random treasures in here too. Like just random shit. Yeah, just random shit because it's his hoard. And everybody's going to be like, well, what's in the hoard? Random shit. So I also got my first. So I got my first learn to draw post on Facebook when I came back from San Diego. Actually, while I was in San Diego.
Nice.
It's like, yeah. You know how? That's how I know I've made it in this life, Lance. I'm getting haters now.
That's really all you can ask for, right?
I've actually enjoyed it. Like a lot of people get really like, "Aren't you hurt?" It's like, no, I can use these people. I can make money this way.
This is PR.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys for. So I'm also experimenting with an idea here. We're gonna see if I'm on something or onto something. But yes, I also ended up getting my first commission actually right after I was getting trash talked. So yeah.
Everything in balance.
Yeah. As you well know, Mr. Lance, some like you take a stand on stuff, people are going to hate you for it, but people are also going to love you for it.
Yeah, there are an equal amount of people that think art shouldn't be snooty BS all the time. Sometimes it's just about doing it. And actually, good art, it should be more. Yeah, like good art, more often than not, should be about doing it purely the way you want to do it and not giving a shit about anyone else.
That is pretty much it, man. I went right, but it's being again. This goes back to something I said earlier. It's about being honest about what you want. I think that's the hardest thing as an artist.
Yeah,
is figuring that part out.
yeah, I mean, why are you doing it? And if you are doing it for other people, that makes it so much harder.
One of my freelance gigs actually right now is I get to design a book actually for the first time ever. A design basically as a world building concept, and it's a fascinating challenge. Tomorrow, I actually tackle it on more seriously. As soon as I'm done with
Mhm.
you, I get caught up with. I've been catching up with clients
Mhm.
nonstop. So okay, it can't be a giant penny because that would be a little bit even for this picture obnoxious. But what if you were a dragon and you were inside a treasure place? What would you consider valuable? I'm a fat bastard dragon. Can't believe it.
I mean, secretly, I kind of just want to pick another card game's most expensive card and put it in a Magic card.
Oh God. Yeah, but the way I
It's like,
built
what's
this, you wouldn't be able to see the magic. You wouldn't be able to see the magic card. That's the
okay? Yeah,
problem. Yeah, because I got the gold coins being a certain size, so I can't just. Yeah.
just like an
I
NFT.
mean, I could make. That would be amazing. Like, that would be amazing. Yes, folks. This is, by the way, this is how me and Lance worked for years. Bullshit like this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a long way to go before I'm anywhere close to your level, but I never thought I'd be drawing like this with you. Gotta say.
That's I mean, man, I wish that everybody drew. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get by without drawing.
Well, it's simple. I wish everybody arted. Doesn't have to be drawn. For me, it
Well, and
doesn't
like
have to
you
be.
could say this,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you could say the
Yeah.
same about writing or anything, right? I wish creativity wasn't thought of as something you do specially at certain times or whatever. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, I've been turning my art into money. So, and the way I have done that is I basically have ignored that whole like position. I just been like, you know what? I'm just doing it my way, guys.
mhm.
So, so I got myself a dirty pot-bellied dragon because he's a fat bastard, like he just is, and he's got his tail around. Oh God, I had a really fun thought. I know the obnoxious thing is
What?
I get a bank vault.
Okay, okay. I mean, Scrooge
So I
McDuck,
was,
that checks out.
yeah, it's like he's got it and it's like ching 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 ching. Yeah, it's like it's you'll see it when I got like I literally have this dragon dragging a giant bank vault with his tail. Hey, Lance, when I do obnoxious, I really do obnoxious.
You got to lean in
Yeah,
all the way.
exactly. I got a fat dragon who's like he's actually looks kind of halfway stoned. They actually did a little comic little blurb for people that can work. Oh my god! I even had the ultimate thought there. Oh my god! I have figured this out. I think I figured this out. We'll see what I've done here if it actually translates well. I don't know, but I created a treasure vault. It's a decadent dragon. He's yeah. So that's what I came up with, buddy. I have a dragon treasure to add to his haul. Because what do you do if you're a dragon and you got a weakness for gold and shiny stuff?
You been getting any video games in, or are you pretty much?
I'm going to be doing that more in the next little bit. Just about done Tales of Zestria. Just about.
Okay.
I'm at the last level there. I didn't tell you the other thing that happened. So I got back from San Diego. I do another writers conference, and while I was there, went to on the second night. I met an engaging human being named Jennifer. Turns out she's an agent, and she wanted a manuscript. So I spent the last month working on that and handing it in.
Nice,
guys. Yeah. So I've been trying my best and damnedest to come back, Mr. Pencil Crayon. I need you. So I've been working on that. I've been I finally caught up on some stuff. Like I started putting my San Diego stuff on my Patreon. Right. Also on First Comics, I sent them a very cool interview with Brian Polito. I don't know if you know who that is. He's been doing Lady Death for like 30 years.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's up on First Comics today. And I've launched a series for a client called Healing Hands, a massage therapy education show. It's my 5th show I've produced.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've become a producer. I can put.
You're just producing now.
I got the experience, right? Yep. So, I mean,
that's awesome.
It's one of those things that, yeah. So I just bought myself Persona 5, the Royal.
Nice.
I want to do Seas. I want to do Sea of Stars. I don't know if Persona. My only concern about Persona 5 is I don't know if my computer can handle it. But it occurred to me that Persona 5 was originally meant for the PS4, so I think it probably will be fine. It probably will be fine. Right? It was on sale.
I've got it on Steam Deck, and it runs on there. So I don't know. Yeah, should be okay.
Steam Deck. Well, Tales of Arise did not work.
Oh, okay.
So, but Tales of Arise is also a much more complex game than Persona is. So, but Tales of Berseria does. Tales of Zestria does. And I am going to get myself a Steam Deck. That's going to be like the last thing I get before I leave the city. Because
Steam Deck's
Tales
good
of Arise
stuff.
is awesome. Oh yes, I am very well aware of that. Steam Deck is amazing stuff. But okay, so this is like a pale, sickly brown dragon, huh? So I'm gonna go very light on the brown. Yeah, so I've been doing that's been my last couple of months. Finally getting paid again. Cool. Like catching up from San Diego.
Yeah.
The arena's about to open up, so I'm still working at there, at least for the time being. And that'll again, money will be coming in. So now I have to save up and try to do what I can so that when the springtime hits, I'm out the door. That's what I want.
You still planning on just like hitting the road, or are you?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted. No, I still want to hit the road. It's just I don't know where I fit, dude. Like that's where it comes down to for me. I don't know where I fit. I don't want to go back to Vancouver. Don't want to go to Toronto. So that's not in the question. Then okay, then what is in the question? You know what I mean? I have to figure that out. And again, if I'm going out there, you know, if I seek, I will find. You know, that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why, like I said, like I said earlier, like looking for a full-time job. I could get a full-time job and crush the money required probably really fast. But would I be using the skills I actually need to use, right?
To progress, right?
Yeah. And that's where I'm at, right? So, but I also, like I said, I'm making more money doing my own thing now than I ever have. So it's not all bad. It's just it's taking more time than I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, I've been working very hard to make things happen, and one way or the other, they're going to. I'm not like worried about that at all. It's gotta have faith in yourself at the end of the day, man. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, that's what I did. So, got a big white belly. So, what color? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm zoned out. I painted myself into a hell of a corner here. I just think I bit off more than I could chew.
It's okay. So what's the corner?
I don't even know if this will show.
Oh, it does, dude. That's awesome. It's not a dragon. I'm not sure.
I'll make it a dragon.
Yeah. I'll make it a dragon. It still looks good, dude. Still looks good.
Kind of wanted him to have like scaly fur mane for his head, but yeah, I haven't got to the scales yet.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Like, and the biggest difference between myself and Mr. Lance, everybody, is the details. Mr. Lance can see far more details than I can at this point. At this point in the process, and that's okay. Just have it. All that really matters is that we're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing now is I tried an experiment. I don't know if this is actually good, but sometimes you gotta experiment. All right, you want to see my take on Decadent Dragon?
Yep. Yeah, I see it. That's not bad, man. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. How did the gold coins look?
I like it.
Yeah.
Zoom is crushing everything, but I see what you're going for.
Yes. Yeah, I figured you'd enjoy that. It's like, hey, I made him. When I looked at the card, like the big thing I noticed about him, and I just embellished a little bit, was his belly.
Mm-hmm. It was a good call.
Yeah, I think mine is actually more fun. I'm not gonna lie. I think mine is actually more fun.
Submit it.
Also, yeah. Oh, I will. I'll definitely be showcasing this when this is over. Like the dread. Yeah, I think the hilarious part is the dread. He's dragging a safe by his tail. It's like I'm getting what I want. Yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of that. that's actually neat. No, it's like I'm better than I was, right? I'm not. Again, I don't think I'm great, but I think I'm competent. I think I can keep myself competent.
It's a long road, and the only important thing is walking it.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I embellished the decadent. So that is a decadent dragon, ladies and gentlemen. He is full of decadence and stuff like that. So now we got Bladewing, the deathless dragon, as yes, he is one of my win cons in this deck. Because when he swings, he makes an army of zombies. Based on the number of creatures in my grid.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Did you read what my commander does?
I did. I don't remember. Here, I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
See what kind of
read what my commander does, and you'll see what evil I built.
Gonna need another drink for this. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Just discard and okay, you have to pay for it. Okay, at least you have to pay for it. I was like, what? No.
But it's still a cool way to play the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's more fair than I was expecting, strangely, for you.
Yes. But I thought you'd enjoy it. But it is surprisingly fun and sneaky. Like, swinging for 6 for free. Like, swinging for... Yeah. Yeah, hey, that's a go right ahead. Hi! How you doing? Hey!
It's Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Shy.
It's okay. Your dad, he actually, I don't know who's shyer between you and Natalie sometimes. It depends on the situation.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Good night, Ben.
Yeah, so it's okay.
It's a dragon. Sort of. Not really. It's so scary.
So scary. It is scary. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I think it's scary too.
Is he scary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll make him less scary for you. Okay. Good night.
He's sweet.
Okay. My dragon needs to have some pink bows in its hair now.
Okay. Listen. No one's going to talk smack to a dragon with the pink bows in its hair. No one.
No.
Unless you're crazy.
Admittedly, this was going to be a pretty boring drawing until he said it was scary. Now it's going to be a whole different thing.
Have fun with it, right? I mean, that's what this is all about, right? That's what this is all about. It
was missing the spice.
Yeah, it's right. It was missing pink ribbons. Listen. Life is all about like figuring out what those magical pink ribbons in your life are supposed to be. So the challenge with this particular dragon is his wing. But yeah, so basically, like I said, my master plan is I throw big evil creatures into the graveyard. It's got a reanimator theme, but it also can do like it does other really disgusting, sick things. And the best thing is, because he's kind of fair, people let him live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always the trick with Commander, is like getting something that's just threatening enough to stay on the board.
Yes.
Or not too threatening to be removed, rather.
Yes. Well, I built a deck with Tulane that basically turned into me taking on the board every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a probably should not rebuild this. I sold my commander decks to finish the payoff to San Diego, which I do again in a heartbeat. Right, I would do that again in a heartbeat. It's not even a question. But I was like, they most of this deck was actually still intact. So I was like, okay, I'll rebuild this one first. This is my fun deck. This is my okay. I can play with this, and people aren't going to feel too bad about it. In fact, they'll just sit there and let me do my thing, and that's wonderful. I can just steal wins by just doing what black and red do best, which is burn shit or swing really quickly. One or the other, you know.
I expected like some like mana clash or something in there.
I have a couple of those like sneaky cards in there. I have one where people take cards from the top of their deck, and I can just let a player vote for which one of the, let's say, Commander Pod has 4 people. The one I don't play, and I get to choose one of the other ones, 2 of them, and cast it for free.
Okay.
So I got gross stuff, just not
a little bit of that.
Yep. I've humaned up. I don't. Again, also the other thing too. It's not important to have like the deck that just wins all the time either. Anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So it's important. Again, everybody wants to feel like they can play the game, and I totally respect that position. So.
Yeah, Commander's a weird balancing act.
Yeah. Well, Commander, everybody wants a game. They don't want a quick, like, oh, you won right now. Like, why do we even bother playing? And much like in the real game, no one wants stasis.
Somebody wants stasis.
Oh, somebody does, and they usually does. Oh, even you never did some of the stuff I've seen in Commander. Would you? Maybe a few of them, but I don't think you'd actually play the card stasis itself.
I had a stasis deck way back. That was actually my first Magic deck or second Magic deck, I think. But it was not stasis like everybody else built it. I had those like shitty 1/1 birds in like 4th edition and Mirage, and they just had vigilance. So I would just play stasis and just attack you with flying vigilance birds until you were dead. So in a ways, worse than an actual stasis deck because it was very slow.
Well, an actual stasis deck is also very slow. It's painfully slow. So that's the thing. It's just like, can you please just end the game? No, I want to prolong it.
Mine was fair too. I didn't play like boomerangs or anything like stasis. I would pay for stasis and it would wear off. And
yeah, see, you're not a complete monster. It's like some of those.
What was that other one? There was that Mirage enchantment that like gave everything phasing. I played with that too. Just yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Basically, my goal is just to get the game state to a place where nobody knows what's happening. Like if I can confuse the judge, that's ideal.
And folks, I've actually seen him confuse the judge. It's funny. What happens when I do this? And they're looking at this like, what did you do?
Yeah. Why did you put these cards in your deck?
That's it. What did you do? Why are we dealing with you? Okay. So, I think Mr. Blade Ring. I think Fat Bastard Dragon is my favorite of all the dragons I made today, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's not bad. No, man. Like I said, I've been just professionally speaking. I can't complain. And right this minute, I am. Yeah, no, I'm in a very different place than I was earlier. I'm more confident, a little more driven, but also, I just don't sweat shit like I used to either in some ways.
Yeah, that's just the only way to live. You can't.
Yeah.
You run out of time to sweat all the shit.
That's pretty much it. That's it. I don't have time for that. I don't like I'm past the I need to do something to get my game. No, fuck that. I don't have time. Let's just do it now.
Mm-hmm. Man, you mentioned Sea of Stars, and I've been playing that. It's like I've had this video game project going for I don't even know, like 10, it's probably like 8 or 10 years now. And it's like manifested in a bunch of different games by now, but playing that game was wild because it's so close to the thing that I've been making this whole time. Not close in terms of story or anything, but like it does so well at like realizing the things that I wanted to realize in a game that initially I was like sad, but then I was just kind of happy that someone did it and then I didn't need to do it anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just it, man. I mean, the thing about life, this is why I'm driven like I'm driven sometimes, is you're not the only one with these. I truly believe this. All the ambitions we have on the inside, none of us have an exclusivity to them.
Oh yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, like sort of like a collective consciousness or shared inspiration or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So what happens is you gotta kind of make a choice. Do I want to do the thing? Like ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Right now, we all have other priorities. Sure, I'm not going to disavow any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to: do I want to do this thing? Doesn't matter what it is. Right? It's why I'm trying to get on the road as fast as I can, too, to some degree, because I realize that
there's a window.
Yeah, there always is with everything.
Mm-hmm.
With everything, there's a window. Now, Now, younger me would say if you don't hit all those windows, it's wrong. And older me is a slightly wiser. And older me says this: it's not about whether you hit the windows or you hit them or you don't. Here's what matters. In hitting those windows and hitting that space, okay? Let's say you didn't do it. Why didn't you do it? Did you find something you loved more? Did you have bigger priorities? Right? Those things aren't wrong. Like, honestly, right? They're not. But you got to be honest with yourself, right? You got to be honest with yourself. The biggest thing I hear with people that kind of annoys me is when they say, I don't got time to do it. It's like, no, that's not true. You had time to do it. But that's a bit of a bullshit excuse. Let's get real here for a second.
Yeah, there's like questions of scale or whatever like that might enter the picture, but like ultimately you could achieve some version of what you're thinking.
Well, yeah, and like I as I've gotten older, I realize that the objective is not success or failure. It's nice, but it's not the real objective. The real objective is did you show up and how ready were you to try? Not always going to get what you want. Like that's just. I mean, I would love in a perfect world. I'd love to say you would, but that's not true. Like
No, you
right?
working on anything creative, trying to achieve a goal, you will always fall short of the goal because the goal is basically, you said it, an impossible, and you achieve as close as you can.
Yeah. So then the question then becomes this. Let's solve the question. Did you try? Cool. Why'd you try? Were you honest in the attempt? Were you honest in your attempt to try? Were you honest in your attempt not to try? Like, again, you decide not to make this video game. Is it because you were afraid to make the video game? Or, let me finish, and then I'll let you go. I'll let you get on it. Or what? Yeah. Or maybe you found something that was more important to you. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
It's not that I decided not to make it. It's that I needed to learn a whole lot of things about making video games first, and I wasn't ready to make the video game. But like I said, I'm not like sad about it or remorseful about not finishing it earlier or continuing to work on it or whatever. I just thought it was interesting. Like, I honestly, I was working on it because I wanted it. I thought it was a good idea, and I wanted it to exist in the world.
My blade wing, not bad. I think Fat Bastard Dragon was my best thing both today. I have no shame in admitting it. My character being a fat bastard was the star of the show, I think, for me. Yeah.
That's where you peaked.
Well, I just think like that dragon is pretty badass, pretty chill and pretty badass, and but no, like that's it. Like I don't like it. Like I realize like Buan in the world, in the grand scheme of the world, the result doesn't matter as much as we think it does. Right? It's the attempt that really counts. Right?
Yeah, and like proceeding, right? Like it might not be sometimes you charge the attempt with success, like you said, like you're pursuing success, and the reality is like that attempt wasn't going to be a success, but the next one will be. Like maybe that attempt is about preparation for something later.
That is almost always the case. Like I have found that for me personally, my failures have all led to other things. Right? My goal, like that's the thing. Like my goals are not always no one bats 1,000 hitting their goals. But I can bat. This is what I can bat 1,000 at, and this is what I always look at. I can bat 1,000 at what I choose to put my efforts into. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. But and going for that is probably a death knell. But I can show up. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything harder than that. You know?
Yep.
And it's amazing how, and honestly, I think the most amazing thing to me is how very few people realize this. That's the part that blows me away. It's just like, it's not that people can forgive success. People can forgive, people praise success, but people can forgive failure. Right. But what everybody really cares about is that they don't waste their time. That's basically it. Was your time wasted? Yes. Right? And because I hate, like, that's my pet peeve now in life, right? Is if my time gets wasted.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the most valuable thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the thing you can't get back, and it's like it's compounded by things like opportunity costs and stuff like that too. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Like,
just that it's not just that you took my time now, it's that you took away whatever I could have been doing.
Yeah, I legitimately hate that shit. Like, it is my pet peeve. It's one of the only few things that can still piss me off. Right? If someone's wasting my time, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's where I'm at. I don't need to. That's it. Like, it's like one strike you're. It literally almost is one strike you're at this point.
Mhm.
Right? It's like, you wasted my time. Okay. Okay, then I'm done. Right? That's it. That's it. It's nothing else.
Well, sometimes it's got to be that way. You know,
Yep.
like there's definitely like that. That's a unfortunately common thing in any creative pursuit too, is people not valuing your time.
Oh yeah. I've eliminated some of that, like, pretty brutally. Pretty brutal. I've eliminated some of that. Some of it, not all of it. Like, I have a very I have a very, very brutal, like, rule position on some stuff, and one of them is, again, I don't care. Like, I've never cared that, like, whatever you want to go for, wonderful. Are you going to appreciate what I'm offering you? And the more, and this is an ironic thing, the more, I think you're going to appreciate me, the less I charge.
Mm-hmm.
And the less I think you appreciate me, the more I charge.
That's a good way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and
I mean, that's
I've said this
not
before.
unlike how I operate at work. You know, it's like it's a little bit different, but
you don't want your time wasted. Like, that's what ultimately comes down to, right? If someone's legitimately trying, you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, like, because at least the effort's there, right? If you think someone's being a dick to you, you're going to be like, well, this is the first time, and this will be the last time I come bug you. Right? And if you're going to bug me, it's going to now, I have to make it worth my while because you're not. That's where it is. Right? That's it. Again, it's not rocket science, but what I realized is that public school, that is the most important lesson I learned, was ironically the attendance. That's ironically the most important thing I learned from school. And that's a weird thing that I would come down to, but it's like, that is it. That is the big difference between people who make it and people who don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is sort of like the bare minimum, right? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have thoughts on public school in general. I have.
Yeah,
very...
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things I realize that it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen quickly, right? But you realize that it's public schools are built for a very specific purpose, and it's not always the purpose I think people would really think it should be. There's a lot of things public schools I wish taught that they didn't teach. I wish. It is what it is. But again, you have to realize, like, where you're at and what you're doing, right? And it's built for a very specific purpose. And your kids, because you are a parent now, it's like, what are they going to teach me that's going to help my kid? And when you realize it's not as much as you hoped, you're like, why the fuck are we even doing this?
No, it's like other than, like, that's the thing, is like you're forced into it because, in a lot of ways, because jobs aren't set up for you to be working and taking care of a kid. But
Yep.
it's also just like, yeah, just subsidized daycare is not what the world needs. I mean, okay, it does need that, but what it needs for a school system is not that. We need
No,
actual teaching.
well, we need that, but we also need we also need like it's not it's I don't think how do I say this? I don't think necessarily it's from a teaching standpoint. There are other things you learn, but in terms of critical thinking, it's not what it
Mhm.
was when we were at school. It's like,
No,
and I'm
no,
not
I
saying,
think
go on.
I don't even think we learned critical thinking in like the conventional school system. I actually don't even think that concept was brought up.
Uh, in high school for me, it was a big part of my
Mhm.
education. Like, but you had that option, right? You had the option of learning what that is.
Mhm.
But I also know like you're a little younger than me, right? Like by a couple of years.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So in Ontario where I was the last class of an older education system, and they went to a new
Mhm.
system after that. In some ways, they're smarter than I was. They can do shit. I'm like, wow. I feel like I'm the pretty one, you know, some things.
Mhm.
But I'm also at this point in my life, I'm confident enough that if a problem came in front of me, I figured out a way to do something about it. I'd learn.
Mhm.
Those tools were taught to me, right? After me, I wonder if the phone was shut off tomorrow and you didn't have access to this database of knowledge, what would you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Lived
Yeah,
with the internet for too long, don't even know what. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would figure
I
it
still
out
got
because I'm capable of that, but
yeah.
yeah, it would definitely be a struggle.
Oh no, we'd have like all. I'm as guilty as it too. Now I still have the old basic critical thinking skills that I had when I was a kid. I still have them. I still use
Yeah.
them. Right. You know. Uh, but the thing is, right? Like putting it in those terms, right? Um, that's what's important. Like, can someone solve a problem today? The
Mhm.
same. Again, we all solve them differently than we did when we were kids. I'm not gonna say like back in my day it was better, but
No.
the ability to
There's
look
like
at a
a
problem
real yeah, there's like a real discomfort with, because the internet is available and has been available for so long. There's a real discomfort I find with people about solving a problem in a slightly less optimal way. Like, um, people are always so concerned about solving it the absolute perfect, like signed off check mark, academic approved way. And the reality is that the results are often very similar if you were to just go out there and YOLO it. Like,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, there's definitely some look. I think a good example is I think we love this idea of a picture presentation. We want. I think from a presentation standpoint, I completely agree with you. We want that perfect presentation,
mhm,
but you don't need a perfect presentation to solve certain problems. Some of them are
no,
just you do this, it's done, right?
mhm,
And at this point in my life, now don't get me wrong, if it's a tie, I'll take the prettier one, right?
true,
But
yeah,
at this point in my life, again going back to the message earlier, I don't want to waste my time.
mhm. Well, like, and that's what
I
I
don't
mean
want to
is
waste my time.
like, I feel like people have lost. It's not necessarily problem solving, but just like it's just like engaged thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something really simple like, the hell is like, I need to hold this thing up. It's like take a board and screw it to another board and prop that board up against the floor and it's held up. But no, people are like, well, I need like a thing to do that. Like what,
Yeah,
like
it's called a
Googling
hammer.
on, like looking. Yeah, like looking on Amazon for like these like bespoke things that solve problems is like, dude, that's like, you don't need to buy a shelf. You just buy shelf brackets and wood, and like, and you have a shelf.
Yeah, it's it.
Or
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
whatever. I don't know. That was
Absolutely. It's like
not a great example, but yeah, like it's like people forgot how to like, yeah,
improvise.
yeah, improvise.
That
Yeah.
would be the word. The
Well,
word
just
we're
like,
looking for, folks, is
yeah,
improvise. Yeah.
just like not blow, like everything just gets blown out of proportion and turned into like a big production all the time. It's like, if everybody just kind of stood up and solved a little bit of the problem on their own, most of this stuff wouldn't be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of it, and the little things that would be lesser of a problem than what they were before. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you can't solve this, but okay, but we can figure it. But someone else could take it from here. Right? No, I get
like,
it.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some of it's like feels like a little more sinister too, like fixing things. Like when something breaks, it's like most people are just like, well, just go buy a new one, just replace it. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
that's a culture thing.
Yeah,
That's
like
totally
collectively, it's like we've just forgotten that like actually fixing that is really easy, and it should cost like $3 instead of $500 or whatever it is, right?
Well, but again, that's the nature of the world we live in today, right? We don't live in a world of natural, like, again, that ability to improvise is not what it was, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not going to like say it's just part of the time. I think we're coming to whatever the next age looks like, and I think for everybody that's a little different. How everybody views it a little differently, but I think we're going to go back to a lot of older concepts like reusing shit and making things last, because I think we're coming to the end of how we've lived this way. It's no longer sustainable, right? And we got to figure out different ways to live again. And ironically, I think the like you said, I think we're gonna go back in some ways to an older system. In other ways, I think it'll be a brand new one. That's right. It'll be different and the same at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's
what I
kind of
hope.
how I see
I
it.
can't tell. Like maybe like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's just like the old man yelling at clouds thing. Like I'm just getting old, and that's just how it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
no. Do the clouds talk to you back yet? Because they do to me sometimes.
Maybe I'm not quite there.
Maybe. But... Okay. When you get there, let me know. Be like, Josh, I heard the clouds. Why does it sound like Elvis? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, but I did want to say something, because as you know, like if you looked at the number above, this is episode 1010.
Holy crap! I thought it was 101. I missed a digit.
Yeah,
well, congratulations.
1,000.
Yeah, you hit episode 1,000, slightly higher than 100. Slightly. Congrats, man. That's slightly huge.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't get everybody I wanted to in the 900 to 1,000 range. You were one of those people, but I figured with you, it's just more like you got lost in it. Not necessarily lost is the wrong word. You're a family man that has like you let yourself kind of become a family guy, just taking care of stuff, and you have a very, and I say this like with respect, you have a very simple life, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm happy for you. But I'm still middle-aged and crazy and going for all my dreams still. And you've definitely been a big part of that journey, man. I kind of wanted to say, hey, look, this is how far I've come. Thanks for your part in helping me get there.
No problem, man. Glad to be there. Thanks for bringing me along half the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I still am planning on doing Cloud Diver 2. I think What I will do when we get off the air is I'll show you what my current story. I'm not asking you to do anything with it because where it's at, but just show you how far my writing has come. So
nice. Yeah, definitely love to see it.
Yeah. So I'll definitely shoot you something there. Do you okay? I obviously again you don't have quite as much time as you used to, and also but as I can tell, you're still doing all the art stuff for yourself here and there. Are you doing anything project wise, like art wise, that people want to know about?
Not like that's public or anything. Like I said, mostly I've just been working on that game forever. I don't know. I do like little like watercolors and stuff like that. I don't know if I put it around here. Just personal stuff.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's like stuff like this. You know, just I'll like if I have like a really long meeting, if I have like a really long meeting or something, I'll just do a watercolor. Yeah, like I don't know.
So folks, I have a convention story for you. So me and Lance would buddy up at conventions and do them, right? Now our last one together wasn't the best, just for a few reasons, but I still remember one thing from it that was really awesome. He showed up and he started just doing random watercolors, just random ones. He goes, "Hey Josh, what should I do?" Double Dragon. He watercolors a Double Dragon scene. The moment he finishes, I shit you not, somebody walks up, sees it, asks how much, and Lance makes like $60 right there. It's like, I was just like, I was a little bit at that point. I was like, I was a little bit jealous, not a little bit. It was like, I wish I could do that.
And that was the point when Josh decided he wanted to draw.
No. Honestly, the drawing aspect for me has been a complete one of the things I've approached drawing completely from a fun perspective. Like, yes, I am going to tackle comics and stuff like that. I'm going to try at some point do something in terms of comics. I think I think I'm good enough to tell a story with what I got, right? But I also know that but that wasn't the design initially, which was, I made a decision. Like you talk about that whole perfection thing. I had this big fear for a long time that I would suck. And then I had an epiphany. And the epiphany was, so what if I suck? And
yeah, I mean,
my art, that's been my whole journey. That's been my whole journey, right? Like I don't care about, right? Not the same way anyway.
People will, especially in comics, like people will appreciate. It doesn't matter what the art is. If anything, that's something I struggle with a lot. It's like, I wish I could just do less. Like, I wish that I admire those people that have like crazy line economy and stuff like that. And they can do like a whole strip. I think in like basically paintings.
Yep.
And I don't do them fast. Like my brain doesn't want to let go of them until they're done. So, or like whatever it determines they're done. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think it's a degree of care too. Like free. I mean, and I say this on the you care more, I think, about your paintings and illustrations than I care about mine. And I don't say that like in a derogatory way. I enjoy it. No, but I think for me the goal is different. My goal is different there.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't figured out how to tell stories like economically. I haven't developed that. I can, if I limit myself to when I was trying to actually do comics, when I was doing I just limited myself to ink and paper. And I still found ways to make that inefficient.
But also, I think if all right, this is how I think though there was this too. I remember you went for it, but I also think for you, and I think this was you at then. I don't know about you now but use then,
Mhm.
right? I think one of the biggest things I had to learn, like when I made the decision to go all in on this stuff, was how to succeed at it.
Mhm.
Not just how to fail, but also how to succeed. Because
Yeah, yeah.
one of the hardest things is, I have seen this when good things happen to you, like because you have talent, right? And because you are really good at what you do, sometimes you build this unrealistic expectation of what you are trying to accomplish. And I think
Yes, definitely.
younger you, especially, younger you especially, was guilty of this a lot. I don't know about you now because I mean, we've kept in touch, but I also know this too. You've got a different plate than when we are hanging out right prior to this. So
Yes, yeah.
it might have made you wiser in some ways, right?
Mhm. Like I mean, it's similar to
Right?
like you realize like you just deciding you don't want people to waste your time. It's like I have just decided that that can be a waste of time. I
Hmm.
just started to try to be real about what I'm trying to do and scope it in a way where it's like not everything needs to be a friggin' Renaissance, Michelangelo, whatever. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be a 50-hour painting. If someone's going to look at it for 3 seconds and then flip the page, you wasted a lot of time on that.
Yes.
If 3 seconds is probably generous for a lot for an illustration too. Uh, like I was thinking, like
It
even
depends
like
on.
like Optic Nerve is like one of my favorite comics, and
Okay.
that's like very simplistic drawings, right?
Yeah.
I find them good, but like I'm sure he looks back at them and wasn't super happy with them.
Oh, I'm looking at it like it's not, yeah, but you also like you have to look at it from like that's not bad. Like I'm looking at it right now because I
Yeah,
haven't actually seen the comic. No, it's not bad at all, right?
yeah, no,
But
it's
again,
not.
it
Yeah,
doesn't.
but
But
it's not
again,
like
he's not killing himself doing this either. Like looking
yeah,
at it, I'm
like
just
it's
looking at this right now.
trying to
Go,
think
dude.
like what the good example. Like it's not like like it's not like Bernie Wrightson or something like that. I'm not saying that these are very competent drawings. They're very good and like often, but like you see it in the progression too. Is like I remember him talking about backgrounds and just being like hating backgrounds, hating drawing backgrounds in his scenes, and then he just stops. Like he just stops
Yeah,
drawing backgrounds for a little while.
because because it doesn't matter. Like okay, so
Yeah.
I decided. Unless okay, so I can actually illustrate an example, and it's freaky. I can say that, but I can do that. Okay. I gotta find. Give me a second here. So, fat bastard dragon here.
Hmm.
The background actually makes the scene a little bit,
Hmm.
right? If the background wasn't there, this wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right? So the background's important here, kind of, but not all of it's important. As you can see, I only did about half a background
Hmm.
because all you really need to give a shit about was the look or illusion of gold and the magic lamp screaming for help, right? So that's what's important, and the rest of it doesn't fucking matter,
Yeah.
right? Because why, right? Is there a reason that this is going to come back later? If the answer is no, then why the fuck do it, right? Why kill yourself,
Well, like
right?
I think it's because of who I admired coming up too, like Will Eisner and stuff like that. Like,
Eisner's fantastic.
like yeah, like Contract with God, like but then you start to put that into perspective, like how long he worked on that.
Yeah. Well, let's just
um
say like go for it, dude.
no, yeah, I think yeah, you go ahead. Yeah. I don't know what to add to that, but like he worked on that for a very long time and he already really knew what the hell he was doing. So like at that point, he had the experience and the wisdom to know what he was investing, whereas I was just investing blindly.
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm reading Chobits by Clamp right now.
Mhm.
Okay. You know what I really love about it, and the thing I'm noticing with them, because again, they're trying to keep a manga going, how again, the economy of what they do in some of the characters is genius. Because what you realize is it's not always about art, like illustration is an illusion. I realize this is how I kind of put it. It's an illusion.
Mhm.
All you have to do is put the idea in someone's head. The rest of it will do the work itself. That's what this is. That's all this is. And when I realized that, it's like, oh my god, I don't need to even be good. I just have to be able to clearly convey the idea of what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, and
That's
often that makes it better. Like that's kind of what I
yeah,
was. That was sort of what I was trying to drive at with like the optic nerve comment, and like just like people won't care is like some people will discover maybe they'll discover your more advanced work later on, and that's what will draw them in. They'll see something where like maybe your skills improved, but then they'll go back and read your older stuff, and they might even connect with it more because of that illusory, that like investment. I was thinking about this with when I was working on the game too, is like trying to determine how, like what resolution or like what level of detail to put into game artwork was that took probably 2 years of like experimentation, because I kept wanting to do what I used to do and invest so much time and like make these little like paintings. And the reality I realized is like my favorite games are pixel art.
yeah,
Like, and they were my favorite because they gave me less information, because I invested
yeah.
more of my imagination in those games.
So 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 well, but also they did something else really good too. It wasn't just the last. It was the details they chose to show you were really good. Like both of us are Final Fantasy 6 fans, right?
Yes, yeah.
Both of us are, right? That's all pixelated. But the reason why that game resonates, especially the first half of the game, is they do a really good job establishing connecting pieces to all these characters, which is a bit of a feat in finding that game because there's like 12 main characters in the first half of that game. So establishing all those connections was uber important, and that's not including the villain, which you get those connections a little bit too, right? And you see the nature of what he is. So that's what makes that game click. It's not the graphic quality. That doesn't matter. Like very little of it actually does. Some people will tell me when they play video games they can't get into old graphic stuff. It's like, well, that's because again, partly it's your generation, what you grew up around, but also just it's the kind of stories you're used to. We were around when video games didn't have all the bells and whistles it had now. What we realize as we've gotten older is they don't really need them. I look at Sea of Stars, right? Sea of Stars is an old school pistol game, right? It's what it is. But it's got a bit of a modern flair for dialogue. It's entertaining, but it's meant for people like us.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a really good job balancing the old with the new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like it's some of it's like the storytelling bits. Some of it's I think just pacing. Like people, it's kind of like the games industry has done what like Hollywood and YouTube and like all of it has done, where it's like you're expecting a certain level of like drip fed surprise and like story arc progression per second. It's like show me something new every 7 seconds, and at the 20-minute mark something needs to explode and whatever. Like,
well, it's the illusion of connection versus actual connection, right? Good stories, the stuff that we remember, genuinely connects with the audience in a long period of time. And it's not just art, it's music. Look, there is now, besides the fact that all the old people have money, there's a reason that some of those old songs are still sung on the radio, because frankly, they know how to connect to people. They feel real, right? Now, I don't hate, like, I literally just interviewed a rapper. Like, there's some really good rap songs, but if R&B is talking about like how much bling I got, I'm sorry, I'm not going to connect or care about that, right? I'm not going to give a shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even if I had that bling, I'm not like I've already made the decision. I'm not going to brag about it, right?
Yeah.
I might dress a little better, but besides that, I'm not going to really brag about it very much, and that's because why bother? It's not important. The important thing, though, like I said, with every good story is connective tissue. Like, if you look at Final Fantasy VI, right? It's like Terra's story. She's an amnesia. Like, when the game starts, she's trying to figure out who she is. And that's the first third of the game, is that quest, right? And everybody around her that meets her, they all get like little moments here and there, but you get to see them making friends with each other. You get to see them forming their bonds. You get to see like the ups and downs, and there's a decent roller coaster arc throughout. And then when you get to the second third of the game is all the way up until like the world blows up, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the world blows up. The bad guy wins. But the journey of how they get to that point it fits the story, right? It fits the story they told. I got the updated sprite version of the game. They fixed the dialogue. Some of the dialogue, they fixed a lot of that stuff.
The
It's
pixel
a really,
remaster?
really neat. Yeah, the pixel remaster version of the game. It's neat. It fixes a lot of the earlier, like they fixed the translations in some spots, so it adds certain character depths. Now, again, you don't get to find the fate of every character from the previous thing, but I think that's part of the appeal too. It doesn't have a perfect ending.
Yeah, it's not entirely resolved.
Yeah, it's not perfect, and because it's not supposed to be. The world ended, right?
Yeah.
And then the last half of the game, and then the last third of the game, you start with a character you meet in Act 2, right? Or just at the end of Act 1, and she's the main character, and she's like looking for a reason to live in a world. And again, depending on which path you take with her, she legitimately tries to commit suicide, right? And that's an amazing, like discovering the will to live in a world like that. And that's the whole arc of the final. When you get everybody back, is everybody's looking for that reason to live. How can you? And the bad guy, the big bad guy, the guy who wins in the first half of the game, still can't fathom why people are still living. How can you do this in a world like this? You can't understand it. But these are human, really human, like things we can all grasp and see, right? Like making friends, finding people you connect with, losing them on this wild journey, and then finding yourselves back again. Like, that's a very cool arc all the way around. It's a very, very cool arc, and that's why the game works, right? That's why it works.
Yeah, like that's something I really lament, and like it's not just about playtime. Like, that's something that's definitely changed over the years too, is like you just don't get the amount of time with the same characters anymore in modern games.
Not too many of them, no.
Yeah, like yeah, there's still JRPGs, but man, that was another thing, is like JRPGs, modern ones, there's a few exceptions. There's like a Persona is still doing its thing. But I would say largely like an average JRPG story is this weird Venn diagram of like JRPG tropes and anime tropes overlaid. And it's like they only play within that tiny slice of overlay. Like, there's no surprises, there's no twists. It's just like you can see everything coming.
So, so folks, let's compare some of them. Here are good examples of JRPGs. The Persona series, for the most part, the Tale series, for the most part. I just did, right?
Is it not Zestria? Is it Zestria? Which one's got like the dark-haired dude?
Oh, geez. Dark-haired dude?
Vesperia,
yeah.
That one I thought was pretty solid. I didn't mind the characters in that one.
Yeah.
That was the last one I played, though, I think.
Yeah. But I'm just keeping it honest, right? Like, but okay, so what I love about the Tales games is actually my favorite part is the skits when you win battles.
Mm-hmm. The little like
you can watch
quips and stuff. Yeah.
A little, not just the quips, but you can also see like that's legitimate real bonding time. You can see with the characters. You can see how they grow together. And when things happen to the characters or are about to happen, you can literally watch the relationship in real time evolve with all of the characters, right? That's what makes those games really pop. Right now, and I bring the Tales game up because the Tales game is very tropish. Some of them are anyway. Some of them aren't, but some of them are. Zestria is very tropish, right? But what makes the game work is, again, it's those little in-between moments with the characters, right? I heard Berseria. Berseria is fantastic. That's going to be the next one I do, right? I heard it's the way better version of that world, of that game, and I'm going to definitely give it a go. But I bring it up like that because I realize and recognize that, like, again, they figured out their formula. That's why sometimes that series goes tropish, but they go tropes because, again, formula works to some degree. Yep. It does work, right? And you can't just acknowledge that. I think what happens with games and stories and art and music is you have to understand that it's not the fact that it's tropish. It's that they're not bringing anything authentically new to the equation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's like I don't care that there's a cliche or a trope. I care if all it is like watered down cliches and tropes, and like there's no perspective. It's not even saying anything half the time. It's just like, follow me through these loosely connected plot points until the end of the story where we kill God.
Yeah, which is unfortunately I have to, as much as I enjoy the game, I have to confess Final Fantasy 13 is that in a nutshell.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I enjoy the game because it's deeper. Like, as a game, it's a cool concept, but it is not a great story.
Did you play 15?
I have not played 15 yet.
I think you'd like 15.
I don't think I don't think this computer can handle 15. I know it can handle 13. I don't think it can handle 15. Right. So I'll have to Steam Deck, dude. Because again, Tales of Arise, what I played of it, I really enjoyed. It's neat. But it was just like, I can't watch any of the video stuff. I'm watching my computer just having a heart attack trying to keep up with the all right. I'm pretty certain it'll be fine with Persona. That's why I got it today, because again, it's built off an older engine. Like Persona 5 was built off the older engine. So I'm thinking it'll be good. If it's not, I'm going to cry. I'm legitimately going to cry a little bit. I'm not going to lie, dude.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's what. Yep.
Yeah. You can get them refurbished now sometimes. Valve
but they're hard. They're still hard to come by because everybody likes them. Yeah. They're hard to come by.
15, I think you'd like. 7 remake, play that too. You'll like it.
No, I've seen 7 remake. It looks like they've expanded on that world, which I think is actually not a bad call. Right? I don't think.
Yeah, no, they did it in a smart way. Yeah,
I don't think that's a bad call at all. I think like when this channel becomes a full-fledged retro game, I'm still gonna play the old school Final Fantasy 7, right? Not remake, but old school. And then when I got the ability to play remake, I'll play remake. It'd be like that, right, back to back.
Yeah.
Just break people's brains. Like, why did you play the old ones? Like, the graphics are terrible because the story was really good back then. I mean, maybe they can fix the few holes in the story that existed, but the connections were awesome. Like, that's why that game is considered probably the most popular Final Fantasy game of all time.
Yeah, man. Like, it was like, when did we? That's kind of why I brought up 15. It's like, when did we forget that like these games were? Yeah, they're about saving the world and having a purpose and a narrative arc and everything, but like a lot of it was just like getting a group of people together that kind of became friends. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
that's it. Like, it's an adventure, and that's that's the whole thing, right? And we all like going on adventures. But again, it's also believable people. Like I said, I like 13. I'm one of only 5 people that like 13. And I say this because I understand why. Because 13 fails, like none of those with the exception of Saz, none of those characters feel real at all. Like they don't feel real at all. They don't feel like real people. And that's not a I don't think they're as wooden as 12. 12 could have been good, but 12 lost. Like there was just a point where the story just falls apart.
Yeah, there's something to do with the writing and the translation and localization of those games that just like I don't know if they box themselves in with too many constraints. Like if it became like where they got up in their own head too much about like the whole chain of making the game, where it's like you've got this big graphics pipeline and you know they need solid narrative beats and level designs and like all this backstory and world building ahead of time so that they can work on assets. And like that's kind of what I feel like what happened to them is they got wrapped up in the machinery of making a game. And they forgot to just write a friggin' game that you would actually want to play. Like write something. Yeah.
No, that's it, right? That's what it comes down to. Like you can't get away from that, no matter who you are. Right? You have to be able to play the game, and people tend to people remember that stuff. They legitimately do, but you got to be willing to. You have to be willing to go perform and be willing to go do it. So, but anyway, buddy, I think we're ready to go off the air. We might still bullshit for a few more minutes, but I'll go off the air here. So
okay, well, I got some bows in his hair.
That's right. That's totally good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this: Fat Bastard Greedy Dragon took second place.
To be fair, I took the entire time to get here.
But again, like honestly, it's skill. You see details I don't. You've had a lot more practice at it, right? What I'm impressed with me is just again, I've come a long way from when I started, and I'm happy with that. People pay me for art now, which is weird. Like that's still a little surreal for me, right? But it's happened, right? And that's how do I put this? It's a pleasant surprise, but I have not put in the time or effort someone like you has put into, right? And there's going to come a point where it's going to take me 2 hours to do a drawing too. It's going to come to that eventually,
yeah,
right? Because I'll see more, but. What you got there is really impressive. The pink bowed dragon. Okay. Does he got a name?
That is like kind of not really a dragon. Feels like a Leo. I don't know. Just because of the lion, the lionness.
Yeah. Okay. So Leo with so you gotta give it a name, man. That's how.
Man, like something elaborate.
Or something really simple.
Yeah.
Like tiny.
Tiny, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
Yeah, I don't know, Leo or like Steven. For some reason, Steven's popping into my mind.
No, let's go Steven. It's Steven the Lion. Steven the Leo Dragon. That's the Leo Dragon thingy. He's not sure what he is, but he likes those pink bows. That's just the way it goes, folks. So, do you want to get a hold? Do you want to let people know where to find you?
Oh man, you can't find me. I'm invisible. I don't even remember what my Instagram handle is, and I don't post on there. I'm sorry, you can't find me anywhere. Maybe one day you'll see something that I make. That's where you'll find me in the future when I've made something that's worth looking at.
That's right.
This is why you're the promotional guy.
Yes. You're fun. Okay, I gotta close with this story. So there's one convention, so you'll remember this, the last Geek Moot. We were the biggest 2 money grocers there. And keep it right. So I did my thing. So Lance didn't even bother going to his table. This is what he did. He displayed all his art there. He had a box. He didn't even stay there for money. He had a box, right? That I'm not kidding you. People legitimately stuffed, right? I made my money. I made my table in like 30 minutes. Lance made his table in like 15. And then both of us, then after I was done, it was, I think, me, you, and a couple other guys. We just played Commander the rest of the day because we had made our money on our table. That is legitimately true.
Board games. And I remember I put a sign up and it said like, hey, I'm not here, but come find me and I'll sign your work.
That's pretty much it, right? That was pretty much what you did. And me and you, because we ironically, after I left the table, like after I left and met, so we both made money. Everybody else was there, didn't. And it was just like, and it wasn't because either of us were greedy. He wasn't even at his table. We just talked to people. I talked to people, and his stuff was just like, I'll be pretty. Then we ended up playing board games the rest of the day. Once I made my table back, it was like, all right, done. Moving on.
That's all you need.
But anyway, yes, that's right. So there's a sign. Actually, that would be amazing. Like when this is over, you should like send me like a video of a sign. Hi, I have no word to promote, but here's my pretty stuff, right? And that's all right.
One day I'll like, when part of it is like you said, figuring out what you want to achieve, and like I don't know what it is anymore. I don't like. I'm not trying to be paid to be an illustrator or anything. I don't have time most of the time. Like I can do small projects, but so yeah, I don't post. Kind of just keep it to myself, which isn't good either. Should share it.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up with advice. Lance, it's about what you want, buddy.
Yeah.
That's like, honest to God. It's about,
you know what I think it is?
What you
Yeah. Sorry, you know what I think it is? I think it's like I need like a new social media platform that doesn't evoke so many negative emotions in me. And there aren't any of those right now.
Well, no, they all suck for they all have good points and they have a lot of bad points. It's depending on what you can handle. In my case, Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it is. No, whatever the fuck it is.
Got him.
The thing, the thing about it. Here's the honest thing about it. It's still the best place on the planet to get journalism stuff. It still is. But it comes with a lot of other headaches. And I'm not sure the guy in charge knows what he's doing. Then again, betting against him in terms of making something profitable isn't exactly smart. So I don't know. Facebook is a weird clusterfuck of it's like it's an evolved MySpace that people are comfortable with. It's not good. Right? It doesn't do anything especially well, but everybody's there. It's the only thing it has really going for it. Instagram's fun. But yeah, no, it doesn't do anything good. It doesn't do anything good. I like no. Facebook's strength is that everybody's there. That is it. That is legitimately it. And the only reason it's a grandfather clause kind of thing. Instagram, I think is fun. I love it from an illustration perspective. It's a fun place, but it has its flaws. It has its holes. TikTok is the ADD one. It's just total ADD, right? And let's see. And all the other ones that I'm not mentioning right now are either too new, are trying to copy them. Or actually, there is one more, and this one is actually pretty good. Discord.
Oh yeah. Actually, like, if there was some meaningful way to post on Discord or something like that, maybe. Yeah, I probably would do that. I use Discord every day.
Yeah, no. Discord is the best, like, because it's everything. It's still it's very community based. It's very community based. It's very just insular. It's insular in the right ways. Right, it's not insular in a terrible way. There's common interests, even though there's different people in these groups. There's common interests, passionate fan bases, and there are if people want to get controversial or want to argue about politics or religion, most of these boards, there's a section for that. Right?
Okay. Well, we've solved it. You can find me at literally one place on the internet. It's Discord, and my name is Lance. Yeah, I've been on Discord long enough that I got Lance. So you can find me at Lance. And I get too many friend requests because my name is Lance. So put Steven the Love Dragon in the message if you want to add me.
Rename the dragon. I think that's the spot to walk away from. All right, folks, that'll do it for today. I have Tanya Huff on in 2 days. I'm going to be off tomorrow because I got other things to do. But for everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll see you next time.